Hey everyone, welcome back to the Techaly AI. If you're preparing for a React interview, you must know React Router inside out. Pushpin in this video. I'll cover the most commonly asked React Router interview questions with answer. Rocket stay till the end. And I'll also share some pro tips to ace your interview. What is React Router? React Router is a standard library for routing in React applications. It enables developers to create single-page applications with navigation capabilities, allowing users to navigate between different views or components without reloading the entire page. By using React Router, developers can define routes, manage navigation state, and handle dynamic routing based on user interactions. How React Router is different from the history library. While both React Router and the history library are used for managing navigation, they serve different purposes. The history library provides a low-level API for managing session history, allowing developers to manipulate the browser's history stack. In contrast, React Router builds on top of the history library to provide a higher-level API that integrates seamlessly with React components, making it easier to define routes and manage navigation within a React application. What are the components of React Router v6? In React Router v6, there are several key router components that facilitate routing. Browser Router uses the HTML5 history API to keep the UI in sync with the URL. Hash Router uses the hash portion of the URL to keep the UI in sync, suitable for static file servers. Memory Router keeps the history of your navigation in memory, does not read or write to the address bar. Static Router used for server-side rendering, allowing routing without a browser. What is the purpose of push and replace methods of history? The push and replace methods of the history object are used to navigate programmatically. Push adds a new entry to the history stack, allowing users to navigate back to the previous page. Replace replaces the current entry in the history stack, meaning users cannot go back to the previous page using the back button. How do you programmatically navigate using React Router v4? In React Router v4, you can programmatically navigate using the history object. This can be accessed through props in a component that is rendered by a route. For example, is.props.history.push/newRoute. You can also use the withRouter higher order component to inject the history object into your component. How to get query parameters in React Router v4. To access query parameters in React Router v4, you can use the location object provided by the props. The query parameters can be parsed using the URL searchparams API. Why do you get router may have only one child element warning? This warning occurs when you try to render multiple child elements directly under a router component. React Router requires that the router has a single child element. To resolve this, you can wrap multiple components in a div or React fragment. How to pass params to history.push method in React Router v4. You can pass parameters to the history.push method by including them in the URL or as state. For example, this.props.history.push/path/$param, some state, value. In the target component, you can access the params via match.params and the state via location.state. How to implement default or not found page. To implement a default or not found page in React Router, you can use a catch-all route at the end of your route definitions. This route should be placed after all other defined routes to ensure it only matches when no other routes do. How to get history on React Router v4. You can access the history object in a component rendered by a route by using this .props.history. If you need to access history in a component that is not rendered by a route, you can use the withRouter higher order component to inject the history prop. How to perform automatic redirect after login. To perform an automatic redirect after login, you can use the history.push method after a successful login. For example, handleLogin // perform login logic. This.props.history.push/dashboard. This will redirect the user to the dashboard page upon successful login.